Hello, everyone. I am here today to talk about the effects and consequences of global warming. If you're here with me today, that means you are either unaware or you are unsure of the current consequences or idea that global warming exists. So, hopefully, by the end of this speech, I hope to persuade those that fit this description that global warming is a problem that must be dealt with today. It's a great threat facing our planet, and it's an undeniable truth. So, with that being said, I'd like to dive in to a PowerPoint I've made. So, first, let me define my objectives that I want to adhere to here today. So the first is to define what global warming is, because if most of you are unaware of that it exists, you probably don't know what the definition is. The second is what causes global warming. Third is the consequences of global warming, and our last example or objective is that this is preventable. So, what is global warming? According to the NRDC, global warming is a long-term rise in the average temperature of the Earth's climate system, an aspect of climate change shown by temperature measurements and by multiple effects of the warming. So, what is the cause of global warming? Where does global warming come from? It doesn't just pop out of nowhere. So a lot of it has to do with human activity. It is the release of greenhouse gases into our atmosphere. These greenhouse gases get trapped in there and cause the Earth's temperature to rise. So greenhouse gases include water vapor, methane, carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide. These are all examples from NASA. So one of the biggest and most recognizable we see here is water vapor and carbon dioxide. So these are mostly from human activity. Carbon dioxide is released in the atmosphere from burning of fossil fuel, so oil, stuff like that. Coal will release carbon dioxide. It'll get trapped in our environment and will trap heat, thus increasing the Earth's average temperature. Nitrous oxide, this is kind of an unfamiliar one, but it's a very, very strong greenhouse gas, more so than carbon dioxide and water vapor. It is from commercial fertilizer. That's one of the biggest causes of it. So, everyone needs to eat, but the more and more food that we plant, the more and more agriculture development there is, the more nitrous oxide is, along with methane, is also going to be released into our atmosphere. So, what are the consequences of global warming? One of the biggest ones is obviously the rising temperatures. This causes polar ice caps to melt. It also causes rising sea levels. You might ask, why is this a problem? Well, it happens on a very, very grand scale in the last at least 30, 40 years here. So when the polar ice caps melt, it also causes the sea level to rise. Animal and plant life changes on a huge level. It can't sustain itself because they require a certain habitat. They require very certain specifications in which they need to grow, in which animals need to live. So this causes whole communities, whole populations of animals to die, whole communities of fish, whole communities of coral reefs to die. Like the Great Barrier Reef is actually deteriorating because of rising sea temperatures. It's only on a couple degrees, but it causes destruction on such a grand level. It also causes drought. There's been a peer-reviewed study by Benjamin Cook, which addresses the drought effects because of global warming. They're much more frequent. They happen for a longer time. Obviously, no one likes drought. Being in Colorado, we actually deal with drought a lot. So having a firsthand experience, no one wants to be short on water. And obviously, rising global temperatures, land and sea, one of the biggest consequences. Here I have a picture from a graph from the Environmental Protection Agency, which shows the rising temperatures. You can see from about 1980, a little bit before onward, we see a just exponential growth of a rise in average temperatures. And this is from obviously a very big increase in industrialization, agriculture. There's many factors that go into it. As you can see, this is going on an exponential level. We're not anywhere close for this graph to be dropping. So we're in the last second of this being a detrimental consequence for Earth. So the biggest thing is that global warming is preventable. I'm not going to go into the specifications of it today. I'll actually go into that in my next speech. But yes, global warming is 100% preventable. It is in the way we live. It is in the way we produce things. Everything we do, driving a car, buying the latest iPhone, all has something to do with global warming. But it is preventable. There are actions we can take to reduce the effects. So hopefully with all this information, you see the facts on the graphs that this is an exponential problem. Hopefully I've convinced or persuaded some of you to believe that, yes, this is a problem that we must deal with today, and that this threat it can't be ignored any longer. Thank you.